What's up guys, B-Rob here, and today I'm going to show you how you can apply the formula for change towards your attitude and see change in your life and the world around you for the better. I'll be right back. Thank you for tuning in today. And today, just like I said in the bumper, I'm going to share with you the formula for change, which is not a formula that I've made up. It's one that was taught to me in one of my grad schools. And this formula, I've seen through my coaching practice that I can use it and apply it in certain situations for certain people, and they can change their attitude. Actually, in most situations, for most people, you can apply it to your situation and change your attitude and have positive results. So I want to share this with you today. Now, this is part of a blog that's on LEANWellonline.com. And if you haven't been there, if you're not watching this video from the blog, please go to LEANWellonline.com. Please read the blog because I give maybe some more details than what I'm going to share in this video. And I also go more in depth with how I applied this to my own life. But today in this video, I'm going to go ahead and give you a brief overview of this change. So let's go ahead and get into it. So the formula for change actually came about in the 1960s. Then it was redone in the 1980s. And this formula is used primarily for organizational change. But I have seen where I can take this formula, I've taken this formula, and not saying that others haven't done this, I'm not aware of that, but I've taken this formula and used it in my life towards my attitude in certain situations, and I've gotten positive results. So that's why I'm like, hey, if I've gotten it, I can show this to you, give you an example, and hopefully it can help you. Also, what I'm doing today is I'm going to give you a free download, this pretty package of this formula, but I'm going to give you 3 tips in each area of this formula, and those 3 tips should help jumpstart you on getting some change, some positive change in your life. But now to the formula. So this formula basically is this. So C is going to equal change. So C is change. So you can have change when you have dissatisfaction for the way things are, dissatisfaction for your situation, times the vision. So V is for vision of what is possible, times the first steps. So F is for the first steps that you take towards getting to the solution, towards that vision. And that has to be greater than resistance. Right? So just one more time, we'll run through it. And don't worry about writing this down because I'll give you a free download that you could go and you can get all this. So the link will be in the description, but also in the blog on LEANWellonline.com. So you can go download. So again, here it is. Change can happen when you have dissatisfaction with the way things are, times vision for what is possible, times the first steps taken towards that solution that you see in that vision. And that has to be greater than resistance. Now, as you can see, this is multiplication. So what happens is if any of these 3 values, these 3 factors, if any of those is 0, that means that this is all, change is going to be 0, right? Which means that 0 is going to be less than the resistance, okay? So the way that this works, and the way it works with your attitude, and some of the things that I do for my clients when I'm coaching is I will have them tell me about their issue. Why are we meeting? Which is the dissatisfaction in their life, right? And I'll have them tell me about where they want to be, and I'll have them actually picture that. So let's picture what the solution looks like, and your part in the solution. And when they do that, then I'll ask them a series of questions and we get to a plan. But the plan is actually their plan, right? Because I just facilitate, ask the questions, they come up with the plan, and then my job is to ask the questions to get them to figure out how they can carry out that plan, right? So that's how I have fostered change in the coaching clients that I have. And it has worked. But let me tell you about how this applies to your attitude, okay? So when you go through this process and you want change, what happens is a lot of people, what they want to do is they get caught up in the dissatisfaction, and when they have the dissatisfaction, they see it as what's been done to them. And that could be true. Like something, you're dissatisfied because something is happening to you. Maybe for me, when I was younger, I was skinny. And why I was skinny, I didn't really know at the time, but I just knew I was skinny. I was dissatisfied with it. But I could play the victim, say, I don't know, I eat a meal a day and I can't seem to gain weight, and poor me, right? But what happens is we have to figure out that we have to realize that we don't want to stay there in that dissatisfaction. And there is something that each of us can do in most situations to get ourselves out of those situations, right? So, and again, I want to say most, I'm not trying to generalize here. There are some horrible situations that people are in and they just cannot get out of that. I definitely recognize that. But for a lot of us, that's not the case. We're playing the victim mentality or the victim role when we actually can take some steps to get out of that. It's just that we can't cast a vision to get us out of there, or we can't stick to the steps that it takes to get us out of there too. Which is why it's good to have accountability partner that understands and can see the vision that or understands where you need to go. And that's why it's good to have a coach, right? Or someone certified or credentialed to help you get through that, right? So for this, your attitude plays an important role because you really want to get through the emotional side of it, and you really want to stick with the facts. So why am I dissatisfied? And again, get through the emotions, because yeah, I'm frustrated, I'm mad, I'm angry because I'm dissatisfied, but you got to get through that and get to the facts, right? Then when you get to the facts, you can visualize what is possible and still deal with the facts of how to get you there. And now when you take your first steps, you're stepping in facts and not off of emotion. Now, I will tell you this, emotion there's good emotions too, like passion, drive, motivation. Those are good. That kind of emotional response will help you in those first steps, and it'll help you overcome resistance, right? So that's how your attitude plays a role in it. This right here, resistance, I also try to help my clients plan out what the hurdles are going to be as they take these first steps. And those are facts too. It could be that, as you're trying to get through your first steps here, that there's going to be people in the way or something in the way, and that's fine. Realize that that's going to happen, and then what you want to do from there is you want to build a plan in order to get over or around those hurdles. That way, nothing is going to stand in the way of you getting to what you visualize, which is change, which is this, okay? All right, so how does this apply to me? How did it apply to my life? I'm going to give you that example. So I was skinny. I just mentioned that a little bit ago. I was 18, 19 years old, playing college basketball, 6'5" and 185 pounds. And I hated it because I was skinny. I really loved basketball. I thought I was pretty strong then, and it was because I was so light. I could jump really high, but I also can get pushed out of the way easier because I was so tall and skinny. But I hated it, right? So I was really, really, really dissatisfied in the way I was. So what I did is visualize, hey, where do I want to go? So I had to choose I actually chose a person that I wanted to look more like. So the person that I chose was Lou Ferrigno, because as a kid I used to watch the Incredible Hulk TV series, and he was painted green, and Bill Bixby his eyes would get big when he got mad, and he would rip out his clothes, and then it's Lou Ferrigno painted green, and I just thought that was great. So I wanted to be Lou Ferrigno, and so I used that as a model for me. I'm 6'5", he's 6'5", I think he was 275 pounds at the time when he was in his prime for Mr. Olympia. So that's what I wanted to be like. So that's what I visualized for myself. So what I did is I studied that, and I studied his life, and I studied the world of bodybuilding, but then I realized there were some healthy points, but there were some unhealthy points. So I chose to do it healthy in the natural way. And so what I did was that gave me my first steps to get there. So what that meant was My resistance was I couldn't, as a youngster, 19, 20, 21 years old, I had to have discipline going to the gym. I could not go out and party as much as my friends, or sometimes not at all, because I had to go to the gym. I was sore a lot. I had to buy new clothes because I started getting muscle, and so my clothes were too small, so I had to eat a lot. So those were things I had to factor in that could be possible points of resistance, right? So when I did all that, I ended up getting really good results because I had a plan going forward. So in that plan, what had happened was that I had it laid out, had my motivation, I saw my dissatisfaction that fueled me to reach my vision and extend those steps, along with accountability partners to help me get through resistance, spotters to help me with my steps into getting there, and my attitude changed. And I was able to apply that model to other things in my life because it taught me discipline and it taught me to be consistent with the things that I could visualize. All right, so that's how the formula for change can be applied to your attitude, and that's how you can help get yourself out of certain situations. Okay, so I hope this video helped you. Again, please like the blog at LEANWellOnline.com. When you go there, click that little heart button. Please like, share, subscribe this video, and please click on the link below to get your free shareable, your free download. And thank you for tuning in. I hope this video helped you. This is B-Rob.